So here we are. I've come indoors because it is absolutely tipping it down. Wet and miserable. But it's a good day to be repotting. It would have been nice to do it outside, but it is a bit too wet. And as you can probably hear by my voice, I've already got a cold. So I'm a bit sniffly, but I thought we'd tackle this Hinoki. I've featured this in another video last week. I've had it a few years and it was on a rock planting. In fact, it's on my profile picture. It's the same tree. But I went away for a couple of weeks, and I think in the video I did say it was last year it suffered. It was actually the year before it suffered. So it's been in this pot now for just over 2 years. So the idea is take it out, have a look at the roots. I mean, it's put on masses of growth. I mean, it really did suffer. It was like this all over. I honestly thought it was going to die on me. And yeah, it just needs a good clean up. It needs all these dead bits taken out. Get some light in there. But I mean, it's a fabulous little tree. It's come on a long way, but as I say, it was a couple of steps back. But my own fault. So yeah, the idea is whip it out this pot, have a look at the roots. Ideally, I'd like to get it in this. It's only a cheap plastic training pot, but it's put it in there. As you can see, it is way too big. The circumference of it is bigger. Is way too big. But I think the depth of it is just about right. And as I say, it is a training pot, and I'm gonna give the roots a good old looking over, and I want it to be more of a flare. I want more of a flare on the Nabari. There is a nice root coming off to the left and around here. If I remember rightly, there was, yeah, there's a root right at the back which is coming up here. Get the moss out of the way, you better see it. There he is. Obviously it does add to the Nabari, but very often if you just got the one, it doesn't look right. It just unbalances everything. So we'll have a look. We'll get in there. If I think the roots haven't developed enough, I'll put it straight back in the pot and deal with it next year. Because as I say, I mean, it's not important to make this tree show condition. So I'm really lucky that it's still alive. So on that, I'm treating it with a little bit of respect. There's no rush. I just want to get it back to good health. And if it doesn't look right in a pot, well, I'm just gonna have to live with that. It's the health of the tree that's important. But it would be nice to get it in this. I think there's enough room in there. Definitely got a good spread. There's good room for spread of the roots, which is what I'm aiming for. I don't want the roots going too deep, which they did when it was on the rock, to be fair. But I needed that for the drainage side of it. But yeah, we'll whip him out and we'll have a look and then start making some decisions. But either way, this tree's going to be cleaned up. Get rid of all this brown. Take the wire off. That's been on there for beginning of the year. I put that one on. So yeah, that can all come off. So yeah, I'll come back. We'll whip them out of the pot, and then I'll do another video, and we'll just move on from there. So I whipped them out of the pot. It's not too bad. There's some good root growth, although I have spotted, because as I say, this was an emergency repot when when it suffered. Literally just ripped it out, stuck it in a bit of a rush. It was an emergency job, so to speak. So, but I think by doing that, I didn't wash the soil, and it just shows it's important to wash through bonsai soil, because what you get when you see that, you get like a silt. Luckily it was only in one area of the pot, and what that does, it just basically clogs everything up, restricts your watering. It also doesn't do the roots any good, because they sit and they potentially rot, which is not what you want. So the roots aren't looking brilliant, but I think I've got enough room to get it into this training pot. And I think just by having a bit of a scratch, we'll be able to see exactly what we're up against. I'm going to try not to touch too much these roots here. So I think the only roots I'm really going to touch are these ones that are circling, because I don't want it to continue in the training pot. So we'll just have a bit of a comb. I mean, there's some nice roots in there. That's just that blooming moss. Get that out. There you go. See that? Different colour roots. Get that out. So yeah, we'll have a clean up, and then we'll get it into this little training pot and go from there. So we're back in the kitchen. It's all been repotted. I didn't take hardly any roots off, well, if none. All I did was sort out those gurgling roots on one side, combed them out. Yeah, there wasn't enough root development to play around with it. As I say, I mean, it really did suffer, this tree. So I think it's going to be, I reckon, another couple of years in this pot. They're slow growers, Hinokis, so patience is definitely a virtue with these little trees. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking too bad. It is slightly raised in the pot, but to be honest, it kind of balances out the size of the pot. And also I needed good soil underneath, good drainage soil. The soil I've used is a Pro Mix. I do put pine bark with my mix with certain trees. I know they're going to be in the sun a lot in the growing season. Pines and anything like that, I do tend to put in a bit of pine bark. Holds a bit more moisture. As I say, this will be in almost full sun in the growing season, and obviously it's a shallower container, so it will evaporate quicker. It does create a good shadow, which will shade the soil. Something to consider when you choose a soil, how much direct sunlight the soil gets. But yeah, I tend to use it. We're in Devon in England, and it's on a hot day it's hot, and it can get quite dry where I am. So yeah, it's good stuff. Just get it from the local garden centre. Buy a bag of it. It does, well, I think I've had it about 2 years. You don't put a lot in. Yeah, but there we go. So we're going to have a tidy up, get rid of all the brown, clean the trunk up. Needs a bit of a scrub. That root at the back I've left on. It's not particularly attractive because on this line here it does follow down, so by removing this up a bit more of a natural line here, but as I say, I'm not going to risk it with the roots. I'm going to let the tree fully recover and then maybe snip that root in stages, just so it's not removed all in one go. I don't want to stress the tree out. But yeah, I mean, this side's looking quite healthy. Yeah, no, it's a lovely little tree. So we'll carry on working on it and we'll come back in a minute. So back to the little Hinoki. Yeah, cleaned up a lot of the brown, cut it all out. Really giving it some space in between each of those little pads. It's going to introduce a lot more light into the tree. Cleaned up the bottom of the trunk, give it a scrub. That root that shoots out the back is unusual. I'm not sure if I like it. It's a bit odd, but it's out the back, so it's easily hidden. If it was at the front of the tree, I probably would have chopped it by now. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think eventually I will reduce it. Eventually I'm going to get rid of this high point, but that's for another year. But all in all, it's turned out alright. The pot suits it. So it's a training pot. Alright, Nuki? That's the cat. Obviously it's a cat. Yeah, so yeah, I think give it another couple of years in this pot, and then we'll source a more appealing container for it. I think the actual size of it isn't bad. Elevating it's definitely helped. I think if it was lower in the pot, it would have been lost. But yeah, it's good. So there we go. I'll come back to this probably end of spring, and then we can see what growth it's doing. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.